Good afternoon and welcome back to Carnation Crafts TV. And as always, it's the second hour now of the fantastic launch of the new Clean and Simple Plus collection. And you know, when we bring Clean and Simple, we like to bring you something amazing. Now, obviously you can see on the sides, it is the plus one. So $39.99 is your price. The price will go up on Friday night at midnight, but already 55% has already gone at the start. This is how busy we are and how busy we've been in between shows as well. So make sure you get over to Carnation Crafts website and check it out. Obviously, you're going to get your vignettes and everything else to go with it, the artwork, but the Clean and Simple, the elegance of it, the idea, the concept of having the perfect matte and layers and the perfect aperture each and every time is where this product stands out from all of them in the crowd, because this is going to give you the foundation and the basis to do all of your cards in the easiest way, but to look really, really professional. You might have collected some of the other Clean and Simple ranges, but this could be your first entrance into Clean and Simple. What a way to do it. So what we'll do is we'll go through the boards and show you exactly what they are. Now, with the collection, you've got the larger size dies, as I was saying a moment ago. These are perfectly formatted and sized to make sure you get that perfect matte and layer. So little increments in between, you haven't got to worry about. These have been done for you. The same with the layers in between as well. You will have that symmetrical, perfect look. You can make and sell with these as well, but you're getting a lot of metal for your money in this one. It is an incredible one, the plus size ones. You are getting your frames to put your sentiments onto. You're also getting your decoupage layers for the flowers to be able to layer upon there as well. But you can see when it's all put together how incredible this card looks. This what gives it, I would say, that boutique style. It gives it that elegance, that stance that we all want with our cards. This gives you the pinnacle point to start at, because those layers are there for you. Doesn't matter if you're using coloured cardstock or you're just using white cardstock, you will still get the same precise detail. I'll show you the die. So this is obviously the front of your die set. So initially you can see exactly which one it is. This one is the Delicate Sweet Pea, but then you can see the metal. They are larger size, so again, a lot of metal for your money. You will get the packaging as well, and these are great because storing it, punch a hole either side, and then you can put them in a ring binder and just keep them. It's a lot easier to store them, so you know they're safe. You're not trying to ram them in a drawer, or like I've done before now, stood them all that way. Not these dies, but other dies in the past, and they've bent and they've bowed. You don't want that. Always try and store them flat. So you've got those. But as you can see, we are so busy already on this one because they are so beautiful. But this is where your inspiration really comes in. The design team do an incredible job to try and bring you as many ideas, colorways and concepts of using these incredible kits. And with this one, yes, it is the die set, but if you've got any of the other Clean and Simple die sets, you know you'll be able to mix and match these in with it to get a different look and a different style. Look, just by changing the colors or doing a double aperture, you can get that. Also, just by adding in some of the words, some of the sentiments that you've got at home as well, add those in. Or it could just be the enamel dots available on the website. These would add in beautifully with that one as well. But it does give it a different look every time. So make and sell. You imagine doing a little stall. These could be spring, summer, autumn, winter. You could add all the different colours that are out there to be able to add this to your collection. Now, let's start off Clean and Simple, shall we say? And let's just start. If you are brand new, like I say, I always like to start off with what you will do when you get your kit. So first of all, you are going to take the largest die that comes in your kit. And what you're going to do is cut two of these. These are going to give you the front and the back panel for your card blank base. Rather than having to get a piece of cardstock, score it in half, then cut it down side and have all this waste, why not just cut out your two panels and you've got them? Now with this, I always put a score line in the back, and I've found if you are doing more of your 10-fold size cards, try and do a deeper score line. So this is about 1.25 inches, I would say, with this, but even if you did 2 inches, it's fine, it doesn't matter. Red liner tape, because it's a moving part, so you want to make sure it's really strong. So I'm just going to add my front of my card to this, just lining it up. and you can see instantly you've got that long DL size card, but that is then just going to give us that hinge so we can use it as card to write on. Then you've got your apertures. These are the next sets of dies, so these are the next layers like this, and as you can see, each one is precision. So you're just going to put your cardstock on, you're going to cut one out, and then you're going to take the next layer and cut that one out. That one has got a little bit of an embossed edge on it as well. You don't have to use them all together if you don't want to, but if you want that perfect symmetrical look, I would honestly say it's well worth it. And at the end of the day, you're only using cardstock. It's not like you're using, you know, all your expensive papers and things like that. You are using your cardstock. So just align that onto there. So you can see I've missed out the next layer down because I just wanted it to have 2 layers. But if you wanted to, you could add in even more. Think of it like a delicious cake, you know, like a wedding cake, you know, the splendor of it with all those layers and the fillings and everything else. It's the same with this. But look at that. Once you do that, look at the drop shadow, the dimension that you're going to get from that aperture. I couldn't cut that out with a knife or even with your die set. There is no way you could make it look as beautiful as that. Now, these are your vignettes. These are the hand-drawn pre-coloured images that are available for you to download on the website for free. And you'll get them on an A4 sheet. And it will also have like a line down the middle. If you score on your scoreboard down in the centre, it folds over. A little bit of spray adhesive or a little bit of stick glue. Just a little bit, that's all. And then when you put your dies on, so you take your die on your pattern of your design. Oh dear, now I'm taking tape off of the packaging, I'm sorry. Once you put that over the top, run it through your machine, it's going to die cut it. And then you've got double-sided. So you've got reverse possibilities with all of this. And obviously that was very groundbreaking when Carnation Crafts did that as well, because there's not a lot of people out there, and how many of us wanted it the opposite way, but we had to buy another one that was no, let's make it easy for you and again give you that creativity. Now with these, they are so beautiful, and if you wanted to, you can snip into it, you can bend them a little bit to give it a little bit more movement. But such a beautiful flower though, this sweet pea. And I know we've done them some ones in different colours, a different style before, but this was the most asked for, I will be honest with you. So our team got set to work. Not my team, they're not my team, the Nick's team. Nick's team got all together and obviously, you know, started hand drawing all these again, which I love that it's all hand drawn. It's like you're getting a little bit of art every single time you craft, and you're giving a piece of art to somebody as well, which makes it look even more beautiful. Just threaded that in between, but again, you get that drop shadow effect, you get that fretwork effect, because obviously you're looking through the flower. Now your decoupage layers, just give these a curl, either with a ball tool or with your fingers, however you like to do it. And then these are just going to layer up on the top just to give you that extra bit of dimension. So they've even thought of that for you as well. So add in, so your cards don't look flat, you've got that detail there as well. So just popping those onto there to build those up. But you could add a few gems if you want. It could be a bow or a little ribbon, it's up to you. But with this, you've got endless possibilities, and hopefully with the samples that I was showing you, it will give you that confidence then to, you know, mix and match it. Now you have got the actual little frames, you can layer these up, you might just use just one, you might just want to use two, but you have got the variants, and that is such a great detail as well, because how many times have you had just a single matte and layer and it just looks lost on your cards? It's nice to have that little bit extra. Now with this, obviously you can move it in and have it all on the card, but sometimes I just like it just slightly overhanging on the edge. I think it just draws the eye out a little bit and gives it more of a designer feel. Then we can just layer this up here, and again we're giving the same like stepping stone effect as the background as what we are with the front piece. So this again ties it in and gives it that precious look. And now you can see this is what you can make just with some white cardstock. Print off your artwork, use your dies. This is how simple it is, and you can make and sell that. You could change that into a little notebook, you could use that as a box lid or in a little frame, but you could add in there whatever you want to do. You could even make like a beautiful calendar with all the different flowers perhaps you've got from carnation, and you could actually, with the clean and simple ones, and just have like, you know, January, February, and have the different ones for the year. So lots of different ways to use this beautiful, beautiful kit. But do remember though, it is only available till Friday, stock permitting, because now 50% of the stock is now gone. But for $39.99 it is available on the Carnation Crafts website. You have got the QR code if you want to scan that. That will take you there. But obviously, if not, just hop over to the website, and once you purchase, have a look at the download selection on there, and you will be able to find your vignettes, and then you'll be able to print it all out. But use your Pro Print to get the best effect. And that's honestly, it really does make such an effect. I was talking to a lady the other day, and she was saying that, you know, for years and years she's watched, and I've always said, even though when I, you know, now and again I work for Carnation, but that back in the day I didn't work for Carnation, but I always used to say use Pro Print, and honestly I swear by it. And if I'm doing any projects that need printing out, it has to be Pro Print. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is we're going to use it more of a landscape design, and you'll notice I've snipped into the flowers a little bit because one, I wanted to make them go further, and two, I wanted to do something a little bit different. So let's have a little look. So what I've done is taken two of them and I've just cut into them, okay, and snipped them off at points. So again, I've taken the larger one. This one I've scored probably about 1/4 of an inch in. This is going to give me my hinge for the back of the card. Red liner tape on here. Let's lay this down. Don't try and ever take your card to this and do that. You'll end up struggling. It's a lot easier if you just line it up this way and take the one that's firm without the folding to it, and you'll find that's easier. Then I'm going to add in my next layer. Again, foam on a roll. Have a look on the website. All is available on there, but don't be frugal with it. Be positive with it, because it will make sure then your card is sturdy. You don't want it bowing and bending. You want it to stand proud. Now with this one, you'll see I've just put a little tiny bit there on the opening because it is going to stand this way. Okay, so this will stand like so. Now, as I said to you before, I've cut out the little bits, and because I've done them with the reverse ones, you can then position them in, because what I'm going to do is position these into this so it looks like the flowers are growing out the bottom of the card. So I'm going to carefully, with my glue gel, start adding these in. If you're using foam pads, by all means, you know, work out best way where you're not going to see your little bits, but I like the glue gel because I've just got that little bit of wiggle time if I need it. Plus as well, if you get halfway along, you think, oh, I need to bring those in a little bit, you can do that as well. So I'm just adding those there, and then we're going to start to build this up. So next I'm going to add the longer pieces, and again it's great because I've got like the left and the right, because we've double cut them, and I'm adding this on to here. I love the colourways, that peachy apricot, makes you think of sorbets and ice creams, and especially today, how sunny and beautiful it is outside. It's so nice to be inside, but using those colours. So I don't know about you, we're all into bright coloured clothing and things like that now, and the sun's out. Why not add a splash of colour to your cards as well, just by adding these in? But you can see with this, I'm just mirroring each side. So I'm no florist, but I can build these together, and I want you to do the same. So again, using this as like a pocket style, we're going to build these up and just keep adding these in. Again, mold them, shape them, fold them, whatever you want to do, just to give that little bit more dimension. And this will start then to actually build it up and give it a little bit more. Can you see? So that will just add dimension and that little bit more shape, and I can just keep adding these in here like so. And then I'm just going to take the top one, and this is just going to fill in that gap there. But using two pieces that I've die cut out, we've now filled it like a beautiful, like, you know, like trellis work on there. And you can see, because you can flip them, you can mirror it. Otherwise you wouldn't be able to mirror it and give it that beautiful fan shape. It would literally all just be staggered one way, which wouldn't. But even with that, you can turn it that way and it still works, even if you wanted to carry on using the card that way. So think about sometimes snipping into the actual artwork as well, like I do, and, you know, use the snip ability for your advantage. That's what it's there for. The team are so clever how they design things. So, and like I say, there's not a lot of dies that you could take the actual artwork and snip into it and make what I've done there, because they haven't got that flippability. These have. So let's just add this onto there. This is a sentiment from one of the other Clean and Simple collections. It says birthday wishes, but clean, simple and crisp. But again, a different style, something different to what we've already done. You will find with these collections, there is more and more. Shall I pull it back? So there we go. You can actually make more and more different designs. The more you play with these, the more you experiment with it, and you spend time with it. Like when I'm prepping, obviously, I can be all day or 2 days prepping the cards for the show. And it does give you that time to experiment and try different bits, like the first hour when we use the waste bits, you know, from the arches that we cut out. It gives you that time then to see the potential of using other different bits as well. So hopefully that will help you just to, you know, step outside the box, step outside and go rogue. Like I always say, go rogue and just do a little bit what you want to do. There is no guidelines with this, apart from obviously make and sell. Do that and make sure that you really do get your time with this kit. It's such a beautiful kit, and like I say, this is the pure Clean and Simple Delicate P die set, and it is the plus one. So when you see the plus sign, you know this is the one that comes without the cardstock and everything else, but because you're getting the larger size dies, we know you've got a lot of cardstock, so we added that in. Whereas the other collections we bring to you from Clean and Simple, it's to give you everything, so you haven't got to worry about getting cardstock, coordinating. It's all in the kit. $39.99 is your price. Like I say, prices will go up on a Friday at midnight. Do not miss out on this. Hop over to Carnation Crafts website, where you'll see the full product range on there, plus you can get your vignettes as well. But let's show you a few more of the design team cards to give you that bit more inspiration. But look how they've used that cutout piece as like a little hill that the little animals are sat on. So really, really cute. But like with this one, they're like looking through like the meadow or like the hole in the wall or something like that. You can really put secret messages behind them and things like that. Now with this one, they've done similar to what I've just done and tucked in all the different elements and used it to help them arrange the card and give it a grounding. And like with this one, you can see you've just got it just behind the back, giving that little spot of colour, but you've got the shape there, and they've used it then to make it like a swag style for the flowers. So again, giving them the shape and the design. Same with this one. It just lines out so you know where to stop and where to start. But you really have got so many different ways of using this. For the girls or for the guys, you could use it for those as well. Now, let me show you what we did in the last show as well, so you can see what I did. Like I say, I don't mind if you copy mine, you make and sell. I'm more than happy for you to do that. Let me just find these. But obviously, if you do go on the Carnation Crafts Facebook page with the team, then just leave them a thank you or just acknowledge whose design you have used. But look at these. Look how different. But like I say, I don't mind if you copy mine like for like. I am more than happy to share my designs with you so that you can inspire you to get you up and going and to make sure. But if you want a cost-effective way of making cards, but for them still to look bougie, as you know, and still to look very, very glamorous, this is the way to do it, because there is no waste with these. You're going to keep cutting, and obviously the bits that pop out, like that one that we've just made. Can you see the format? They might be all the same colour palette, but do you know what? They all look so different. So this is where now it's your time to make your mind up and just think about it and just think, I am missing something like that. You're probably missing something in your catalogue of, you know, card making, and you want something different. You know, you can bring in other dies from other companies. I know what you're all like. You mix and match and do that. But if you are a full Carnation Crafts follower, you will have so much potential with all the different dies, because the sizing that's done for these will work with so many of the other elements as well. Now, next one I'm going to do for you is I'm going to be using one of the Perfect Recipe. I have to say, that's like my new fave. That's my go-to at the moment. I must admit, I do like that. So again, I've cut the largest size. Now with this one, oh, that's stuck. I've only cut one of the layers, okay, on this one. But if you wanted to with the aperture, you could cut more. It's not a problem. But with this, I thought I'd show you. You can just cut one if you want to. Again, I've scored in about 1.25 inches on this one to give me a good hinge so that the card will stand up. It won't fall over, because there's nothing worse than a wobbly card. We don't want one of those. So now I'm just adding that into there. And what I'm going to do is then bring in my next layer. This has got foam on a roll, but if you wanted to do it flat, you can. But if you do add that, it adds that dimension. If you've been making cards for a long, long time and you don't always add foam on a roll in between, you will actually find sometimes your cards can look very, very flat. This is where you need that dimension, you need that height, and to make your card look, you know, like when when I was a child, when I was small, they probably, Bunny will probably not have a clue what I'm on about here. Yeah, she was just twinkling her dad's eye. But when you used to receive, you know, the padded cards. Did you ever have one of them, Bunny? Padded cards. When we were younger, they used to do these padded cards. They were like silk on the front with the printed design. They had padding, and the card was like matted and laid like this. And they were the most bougie, luxurious cards you'd ever seen in your life. And normally they came in a box. They were either this big or they were about 1/2 metre big. They were massive. And you used to see people walking through town and stuff at Christmas time, guys with them or tucked under their arms, you know what I mean? And everybody used to laugh. Yes, but they were really special cards. With carnation cards, that's what that reminds me of, them special cards. So if you're wanting to get that extra special for somebody and your cards are just losing a little bit of what, you know, they need, I would honestly say to you, start trying the Clean and Simple range and use a little bit of your foam pads, elevate them, and you'll see how your card making changes. Because, you know, we have people who message in and, you know, they send emails in, and, you know, I've had so many people say, oh, I've tried this, and, you know, I'd never tried that before. It's all about experimenting, believe you me, and you'll find your card making style will change and grow. And like, if you saw the shows earlier, I had a thing with frames this time, but like next time it could just be the size of the card. Do you know what I mean? It is literally down to how you feel about your crafting on that day. Now you can see I've left that slightly out of there because again it causes that little bit more interest, because you're like, oh, what is under there? Then I've got the second layer, and what we're going to do is then glue this over the top in the center, but I'm going to elevate this bit so it really does look like it's entwining and it's growing out of the card, and it looks like you're going to grow all your little flowers out of there. So just add in a little bit of glue down the center of this piece. But again, this is where the vignettes come in. They are so good because you've got colour on the reverse. It doesn't matter if somebody sees the underneath. How many times have you die cut something and you think, oh, it's just plain underneath, and it just doesn't look right? With the vignettes, you always get that polished, finished look. So now all I'm going to do is just add this onto here and glue that down, and then I'm going to add my other glue underneath the other bits once that's stuck. I've taken some of the leaves off that I had on the base of this one, and I'm just going to add these in again to make it look like these are then now just growing out the card. But it's playing about. It's, you know, never commit to the stick. You know that one now. Just sometimes I will just sit there and I'll just like lay them all out and I'll have a look and see what works, what doesn't work. But then that's when I know, right, now I can stick it down. But if you're not sure, then don't do it. Just keep, you know, take bits off, add bits on, and just work at it like that. So you can see with those, I'm just creasing the leaves upon those. With this, I'm going to take my fine glue applicator, available on the website, and I'm just going to take little tiny bits out of here and pop these on. Like I say, I'm not a syringe girl. I cannot get on with a syringe. I get too messy. But this way, I can just take off the little pieces I need and position it where I want. So make sure you use the applicators where you can. So just adding these on. and on the leaves as well. So again, it looks like, you don't always like, because a lot of people will always chop bits off, let it grow underneath, make it look different. And that's why your cards then will stand out, and people will say, oh, can you make me another one for my sister or my cousin or whoever, because they are so different. And when it's on their mantelpiece, people will see it, and then they'll be asking where they got it from, and it'll be like, oh, my Auntie Linda made me this, or, you know, she got a friend to do it and things. That's what it's all about, and that's how you start then, you know, making a little bit of profit for your own little stash, which you can do with this, so don't worry. Even if you charge, you know, a couple of pound a card, you can make, you know, funds for charities, for school events, things like that. I used to make cards for my kids, you know, when they used to school events and stuff at Christmas time. And I used to make cards for them and things like that. And the Easter events, they used to have the fairs. And I used to make cards, and that's how, you know, they made money then for trips and things for kids or equipment they needed for school. So don't be frightened to try that. So now you can see this is using totally different artwork. This is from the Cooking Perfect Recipe collection, but you can see how well it works, and I really like that because it just makes it different. So again, don't always have to stay in the lines, you don't have to be too structured. Don't be frightened, and look at you've got dimension. Look at all the layers on there. You know, like when you go to a fancy hotel and they've made up bed and it looks fancy with all the sheets all tucked in and the throws and the cushions, and you see it, you know, online stores and, you know, even in your little Next catalogues and things like that, you see it all. This to me is what the cards say about this. It's luxury. You've got precision and you've got that fine detail on there. This is the Delicate Sweet Pea collection that we have got on there, and you can see with this you are getting a lot of metal for your money with this one. You're getting so much potential to actually use this and really have a great time experimenting with it. If you've never die cut before, this collection is going to be ideal for you. But if you are somebody who's intermediate or advanced, somebody who's been crafting years like I have, these never fail. If you want a quick card, or if you want a card that literally will then take you to a different level and push you, this will do it too. So $39.99, hop over to the website, check out your baskets, and make sure you get your free download as well. Now let's take a look at the board so you can actually see and understand all this, because what I wanted to do as well is just show you with these layers. Now when you die cut him, you don't lay these on top of each other, because obviously they'll bite each other and it will damage them. You always run them through separately, two separate pieces of cardstock, because then when you lay the cardstock on top of each other, that is what gives you that perfect size. They are not to be put through together. Use separate pieces of cardstock, just in case we've got anybody new and they're not sure. Then you've got all the rest of your layers. You've also got that beautiful Sweet Pea artwork, which is, even if you watercolor, you could cut this out in watercolor cardstock, you could watercolor it as well. Don't get me wrong, it's beautifully hand colored, but you might want to experiment a bit. It gives you the expanse to be able to do that as well, because it's got all those amazing cut lines in it and things like that. But also, if you want to double your aperture up, so if you want to do a double one, you could do a double one, you can do a single one like this, so you can turn your die shape round. Let me show you. So you'd cut it that way first. The piece that comes out of here, you would then turn the cardstock round, put it back in on the piece that hasn't been cut, and then that is how you create a double aspect of the die cut as well. So it is, the potential to take it to a different level is just amazing. But if you wanted to, you can just leave it as it is. But that's what it looks like. Obviously, I do apologise. I keep taking mine on and off here, but that's mine, so don't worry. And then you've got your packaging, and obviously that's going to keep everything nice and neat, all in the same box. Now let me bring in some of these samples that I can now show you. Now look at this. Again, we've used the Sweet Pea. I say we, it's not. This one is by Joanne. She's done this one. Janine, sorry, I always call her Joanne. It's a dyslexic thing. I am so sorry, Janine. Dyslexic. I honestly, names and letters, I'm not the best with this. But then added in so many other flowers. this bit at the bottom is genius. That's been used like a stand. So if you had a flower display, you might have a stand like that at the bottom. That just looks magical. If you want to go really fine and delicate, this could just be a tiny bit of greenery that you got left, and then add your butterflies. But then if you want that little bit of fizz, what a better way, because the embossing detail on here has got like little tiny bubbles. So that looks magical. Then you've got the aspect where you can bring in all your different other characters that you've got from Clean and Simple and the other ranges. And like with this one, how incredible that artwork fits in that beautiful aperture there. And it really does focus on them splashing like a big puddle. Another one here, just adding in like I'd done on mine and filling in those flowers, giving you that fullness in there. But then just adding one of the strips on its side. You can add those in too. And like we said before, doing a double aperture, but putting it on its side. This is where your time now comes, where you can say, yep, I know what I'm going to do with that. And even if you take your first card out and you make the first ones like I've done today and done like the basics, then as you're working with it, you'll think even more and more about extending the range and doing different things with it. Keep a notebook, as always, like I say to you, keep a notebook at the side of you, and then you might have even more ideas. Scribble them down, draw what you see in your head, and then work from that. That is a great way to do it as well. Now, what we're going to do is a landscape one. And what we're going to do is, again, cut two of the large ones to give us as base. We're going to use this. And then I've got my mats and layers, and I've got my aperture. Now, yeah, I told you I had a thing about this cookery one that we did. Why will that not stay in my head? Perfect recipe. I don't know why. I want to call it Kitchen Delight or something. You know what I'm like. So we are going to be using accents from that, but main card is this one. So you might finish with one range and be left with bits left over, and then you start using them in your next collection, the plus ranges. I think that'd be a great way to, you know, make you utilize it all and start using stuff, because we've all got printouts. You always print out too many, you know we do. That's how we are. We always add a few too many prints, but that's just in case we want to make extra cards. So keep them filed in a separate little bag, probably with a name on it of the range that you've used them from, so you don't forget like me. And then you could use them in whatever capacity you want with these. Now this bit, I'm going to be honest, right? Because sometimes I get my inspiration from the strangest things, right? I was watching that James Martin on a Saturday morning cooking show, and in his back garden he's got like a big open oven cooker, like a pizza oven. That's where this inspiration came from. I'm just saying. So sometimes it's not like thinking, oh, I've got to do this. It can be a shape with me, but that's just how my crazy little creative mind works. But this is where I got the inspiration from, and I thought that's just because obviously I was prepping and stuff at the weekend and doing stuff, and I got that program on, and I saw it and I thought, oh, that's just like the shape on this card. So that's where it comes from. So you understand my crazy little mind of thinking. I see shapes and things, and it all escalates from there. Now again, if you've got your card and sometimes you find it's jumping and you can't, open your card out, and then you'll find then it'll be a little bit flatter. So don't worry. If you can't work with it, jump in a little bit or put your glue on it. You know, while you're having a practice at laying stuff out and stuff like that, just do that and you'll find it will be absolutely fine. Now, let's bring in my character. So I've got my little mouse. He's going to stand there and he's giving it a mwah, fabulous. So that he will go there. And then what I'm going to do is add in my different elements here. So we're going to work with this and start adding my shallots. These are going to add into this. So with this one, we're just going to add this into here. But I can't wait to see what everybody does with theirs. Honestly, it's going to be so exciting to see, you know, everybody come back and what they've done with it. So please make sure you show us what you've done, because that is the most exciting bit for me. So I love it. I'm just going to tuck this in underneath. I'm just going to tuck that in there. So you can see with having that bit, everything tucks in. Then I've got my little recipe notes. It does look like my handwriting, I'm not going to lie, because I can never read my own handwriting. Oh dear, I tell you. So all I'm going to do now is then just add that in there and tuck this behind that bit. So you still see some of the onion, the shallot should I say, but that sits there. I've got the little clips as well. So let's get my little glue applicator for a little fine bit. And these are just, honestly, the designs that the team come up with, and like, I'm not going to say too much, don't worry team, but today I've seen something that's absolutely blown my mind, and I've had it explained to me and I'm like, wowzer. So honestly, it's going to blow your socks off like it did mine, but just stay with us because we've got so many exciting new products coming in. And like I say, when you see some of these new ones that are coming in, wow, 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 I've never seen anything like it. And like I say, over years, I've probably seen a lot. I'm not gonna, you know that, I've seen a lot, but this, it's blown me away. I've never seen anything like it. So be ready, that's all I'm going to say. But as always, they make it very easy, very simple, but incredible. So all I'm adding now is the tomatoes, but they could be pumpkins, whatever you want them to do. But like I say, this was the kitcheny bit that gave me the idea to use this range, because I thought, oh, that'll work just right. Then my little mouse, he's going to be stood just on that edge. Little glue tool. Add a little bit of this on his little feet, stick him down. Oh, I need to tell you all, wow, that's jumped up. 60% of the stock has now gone. We are only just into our second show. Believe you me, wow, that really has jumped up. So a lot of you are probably coming in from work now and things like that. You know, yeah, you're at work on, you know, watching it on your phones while you're having your dinner. Well done. Honestly, I can't tell you how well you've done getting this one, because this one, again, you just love the clean and simple. We had so many lovely comments through this morning, people who were loving the range as well. So make sure you get yours. I'm just tucking the little flower elements in there as well, just to join that together, so it just brings him in, so he's not just stood hovering on his own. Got those elements in there, and then it works there. Then because we've got the blank space there, but remember, white space is the new space. Do not be frightened of white space at all. But I'm just going to add a little bit of sentiment in there as well. So a little bit of wet glue on this one, because I want this to be a bit more flatter, because we've got a lot going on and we've got a lot of dimension in there too. So I'm just doing that. I am going to put a blob of glue though just behind that little mouse's head, just so his head doesn't look flat. It just gives it that bit of dimension where I've shaped it, so you can see there. And he looks like he's giving her a kiss. So really, really cute. Then a little bit more glue. Have a look on the website. Make sure you do not miss out on your glues and your tapes, because there's nothing worse when you want to craft and you're out of glue and tape, because it just won't work. So just adding that in. I've got another little one stamped here. Now, when you are using these, always stamp your sentiments out first, then get your frames and lay it over the top and use your low tack tape and then die cut it. If you die cut it, then try and stamp. Trying to stamp and get it in the right place, you'll end up with a few waste bits. Even if you've stamped for many years, and if you've got a stamp positioner, you can't, because your magnets will be in the way and you can't hold it down while you're trying to stamp. So honestly, please do make sure that you do stamp it first and then cut it out. But look how well the artwork works with that as well. So now is your time. We are getting so busy for this now, and a lot of you, like I say, the stock has really jumped up. So let's see what else we've done this hour. So I've used flowers from this collection as well. Can you see? So again, different style, different look with those. Also did for you the beginner card, as we call it. So that's your inspiration that's on the packaging. That's how you'd put it together. And then if you want to be crafty and you want to cut it up, you can see each and every one of these. Shall I just, oh, I don't know how to do it. Is that all right? You can see these are all different. They've all got slightly different colours, different composition, this got snippability. You have now got the time to sit with it, enjoy it. I know you get a bit giddy when you get them first out of the packets and you're like, I want to make cards. But if not, just cut out all your flowers first. Cut out all the bases like I do. I always kind of cut the bases out first, then experiment laying them out. And like I showed you in that other hour, use the waste bits. Use the waste bits to make a different style of background. Use the frames, you know what I mean, by using the smaller card within the inner one. Like with that one, can you see? Oh, I've got stuff everywhere now. Sorry, team, I've got stuff everywhere. Like with that one, I did a frame within a frame. We did a double aperture on that one, added those in. But then, if not, go big. And you can see the cards are all different sizes. Don't think when you get home, these are all just going to make one size card. It is not a one product wonder. This is a multi-purpose product. Think of these as well, that these are a little bit like a Swiss Army knife for craft. These, you know, and not very often I give a name to something if it's not like that, because like with this, we can use it landscape, portrait, we can double cut our apertures, we can add different styles to it. And like with the design team, they like to, you know, experiment with it as well. And that's when you see, and like all of these cards, there isn't one that's exactly the same. They're all so different. They've all been designed different colorways, different styles, and that shows you the quality of a product when you can do that. Because if you can only do one style of card, that is it. If you can't add in layers, take layers away and do different things without the composition or the card not looking right, it's not worth it. But with Clean and Simple, you can see with this from Carnation Crafts, you also get the artwork as well. It will give you that confidence and stride to make so many different designs. You've got the beauty, you've got the luxury, and you've also now got the time to really, really, you know, go to town on these. But they are all so, so beautiful. Don't forget, it's $39.99. The price obviously is incredible, but you can see with that it is lovely. I'm just going to get a few more little cards for you just so we can show you a few more, because sometimes you don't always get enough time to show all the design team cards. So I just wanted to show you a few more that will just inspire you. And like I say, you can make and sell. I don't mind if you copy any of my designs. I know the design team, please just give them a thank you, you know, on the on the Facebook page. Give them a big thank you if you've used their designs, because honestly they really do work like little Trojans to bring you all these fabulous designs, all the amazing different colorways, so these inspire you as well. But yeah, I would definitely empty out those drawers, those little packets that you've got with bits of die cuts in and everything else, and get them out and look at these. This is what I mean. If you were doing invitations, Clean and Simple is always the best one, I would say, because you can multi-cut. You could spend one evening just cutting the bases and the layers and the apertures. The next night, you could then just cut out the sweet peas, have them, somebody printing them off while you're then cutting them. That's how easy it is. But always so popular, and I know why, because it's a slot-in collection. It's one of those designs that it doesn't. Hopefully, we're showing you so many different of the design team samples with different artwork. It shows what a good base this is to work from. And then having this artwork with it for you then to inspire you to work with how you want. As a bookmark, as you know, beautiful. We were saying if you use them like on the side of a tissue box or something like that, these make beautiful tags, bookmarks, things like that. You could even have the flowers like doubled up on both sides, you could, and have those on there too. You really have got such a luxury collection. This is the plus range, which always gives you more because you get that plus size dies in here. You've got the large sweet pea. You've also got the decoupage layers. You've got the embossed layer in there. You've also got all these extra pieces as well. So again, you can stamp onto those, but then you have got the main sentiment ones that have been specially sized to work on the front of the card. It doesn't matter if it's in the middle, top, if it's at the bottom or even in the center, that will work so well on there. Then let's show you, and like I say, I do apologize because I've been pulling bits off of mine, but just to show you, this is all the metal on that you will be getting in your collection. They're easy to put back on, and if you do find that we keep taking them on and off, they lose the stick, get some red liner tape, put strips of red liner tape and then stick them back on. They will stick back on there. But you can see these are big size. Even if I bring in one of the tubes of glue, you can see it's a big size die. This is really going to give you that potential to do whatever you want. You are going to get your plastic file to put it in, which is genius because a lot of packaging nowadays for dies, you don't get any. So this is to make sure then I punch 2 holes in it like that. Punch there, size it, and then it goes in a ring binder, and then I can just flick through, and then they're all safe. There's nothing worse if you're trying to put them all into drawers and things like that. It's great on the front because obviously it's got the different colorways. If you've got any of the other Clean and Simple ranges, you can now look at the other color combos that we've got and think, oh, that's got peach and it's got that green color in, and you can work them all together. You get your QR code on the front, which will always take you to the Carnation Crafts website, and on there obviously that's where your downloads are as well. So everything possibly you could need and more is on there as well. But like I say, this is the last show today that I am here with you at Carnation Crafts. You know, this price will be held till Friday. Thursday I am on a Hobby Maker. Oh, 60% of the stock has now gone. And like I say, I am at Hobby Maker on Thursday with this as well, because we do like a separate shows there with separate stock. So obviously it will be first come, first served. So if you missed out here, there is always that chance that you could miss. You could actually get some there as well, but don't miss out. So thank you so much to everybody at home again for tuning in, supporting us and watching us here at Carnation Crafts. Big thank you to the team and obviously you at home for just being you. So see you all soon, and I'll see you Thursday on Hobby Maker.